Hi, welcome to Lost Oak Live 605. I'm Angela, the assistant winemaker, and I am actually here with Jim, the actual winemaker.
Howdy. And what a pleasure it is to have you back with us here in the production facility.
Been working real hard. I've been told that the job was all sitting back here, sipping on wine.
Finger out.
Yes, this is developing nicely.
Oh,
and
wonderful nose bouquet.
Beautiful nose bouquet, and that's all I had to do. Apparently, as you can tell by my hair and what I'm wearing, this is not all that you do back here.
Reality has dealt a harsh blow to Angela. But hey, she's back here and I'm thrilled to have her, and I think we're going to make a really, really good team together here.
It's I'm enjoying every minute. It's hard work. Don't let anyone ever tell you that it's just sitting around sipping wine. It's not. It's hard work. It's moving wine from place to place. And we're getting ready to bottle, which is a lot of work in of itself.
Absolutely.
One of the wines that we're about to bottle is Tempranillo, and that's mostly what we have behind us are these Tempranillos. So we're going to talk a little bit about that wine today. Tell us a little bit about Tempranillo.
Tempranillo is a wonderful variety for Texas. Now it makes the wonderful Riojas of Spain. It's a Spanish red wine grape, and it of course has centuries of tradition in Spain. But in Texas, I would say that probably the last 15 to 16 years, Tempranillo has really got a toehold in Texas and is doing extremely well here. And it's a wonderful variety for Texas. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So why do you think that Tempranillo has taken to Texas so well?
Well, I think the climates that we have here in Texas, probably there are some similarities with Spain. Now the wines can be different styles, but in Texas, what we have, most of the wine grapes in Texas are grown on the high plains up around the Lubbock area. And one of the things they have there is they're at a higher elevation. It's about anywhere from 36 to 3,800 feet up there. Now, like in Napa and Sonoma, they're at 20 feet above sea level, but they've got the ocean effects that come in from like the San Francisco Bay in the fog, and it moves up, and they get really nice cool nights, but then they get nice warm days, and that's what allows those grapes to ripen, but also to mature to where you want them to give those wonderful characters they get out there. Now on the high plains, the elevation is the closest thing we have to mirror that ocean effect.
Okay.
Because you get nice cool night being at 3,800 feet, but then you get the warm and lots of times hot days, that you get there. But the grapes really flourish up there. Yep. But also the hill country around Fredericksburg. A lot of those wineries down there grow a lot of their own Tempranillo, but they are making world-class Tempranillo. Now they don't have the elevation things, but I just think that Tempranillo is a wonderful fit for Texas.
Yeah. They've got the high plains, or not the high plains, the hill country area. They've got those, well, it's hill country, right? So they can trellis on the sides of these hills and things like that. And they've got that kind of rocky soil, which that lends itself to Spain too. Their soil type is more like that.
A lot of microclimates there that can be very conducive to wonderful wine growing that we see.
So what do you see as far as the difference between, well, I know me personally, I've tried a lot of wines outside of ours, because what I started doing before I came to Lost Oak was doing wine tastings and things like that. And I noticed the biggest difference between Spanish Tempranillo and Texas Tempranillo is that Spanish Tempranillo tends to be very, very earthy and characteristic. It tends to be, as one of my friends once described it, as like drinking a cow pasture. It had those.
I don't want to drink a cow pasture. Sorry.
And some people really like that, and I don't mind if it has a little bit of that earthy quality, a little bit of that grassy quality to it. I don't want it to be overpowering, and some, and I won't say all, some Spanish Tempranillos do tend to have that very strong earthy quality. And Texas Tempranillos tend to be more on the fruity side. Do you feel like that's a true statement?
I think that that's true, yes. But one of the characteristics of Tempranillo to me is that leathery kind of character that you get.
I get a lot of tobacco off Tempranillo too.
And to me, that is the central theme to Tempranillo. Now in Spain, they take that central theme of that leatheriness and work it more to the earthy. I think here in Texas, we take that leathery middle and complement it with the fruity.
Okay.
And that's what we try to do here at Lost Oak Winery. We try to steer our Tempranillo more to the fruity, but you still get those smoky, leathery characters that come through. And it can be a wonderful combination
Yeah.
both ways. Both ways.
So is that more in the winemaking technique, or is that more out in the vineyard? Those differences.
I think it's a combination
Okay.
of both. One of the things about Tempranillo in Texas is it's a big yielder. I'm not that familiar with how big they yield in Spain, but I know in Texas you can get 6, 7, 8, 9 tons per acre, you know, in a really good year. But then you start, you know, you've got those grapes spread out, and it's better to have a smaller amount that gets the same amount of nutrients, and then they mature better. But then I think once the grapes are harvested and brought to the winery, then the winemaker puts his stamp on it. And like I said here, we try to steer that towards the fruity side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we give it a nice pump overs, maceration time. Maceration is the time it takes, you know, that the grapes are on the skin and fermenting.
Yeah.
And then we press. We do not do a heavy press, so that doesn't put more of the astringent character in. You get a nice light. We try to get most of what we can out, but the harder you press, then you start picking up more of those astringency things. We don't want to do that.
Breaks more of the skins up, and you're getting your tannins from the skins.
Right, that's where we want them from. I don't want them from the seeds.
Yeah,
or the
so if you
stems.
press
No.
too aggressively, then you break open those seeds, and then you get seed tannins.
Yes, and those are really harsh, and you don't want that.
Yeah,
No,
and it's hard
bad.
to. Oops. Nope.
Seed tannins bad.
See?
Oh, how much have you had?
I have, but it's hard to correct that later. So if you do too much of an aggressive press and you do break those seeds open,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
not much you can do to correct. I mean, there are some things. I'm learning there are some things you can do to correct these things.
But you'd rather not have to do those
But yeah,
things.
but you don't
No.
want to do that. It's much easier to have the wine express itself without
Yes.
doing any corrective
And we do,
processes.
once we press and we pump to oak, we found that Tempranillo, even in Spain they found this, loves American oak barrels. They love American.
Yeah.
It's a marriage made. Now, Merlot loves French oak.
Yeah.
Cabernet, you can put it in anything just about. Cabernet, you know,
Cabernet's a friendly
it's the
wine.
big bully on the block, but by golly, it loves both French and American. But Tempranillo and American oak really they meld very well together. So we try to incorporate maybe 20% new American oak into each vintage that we get.
Okay.
And we do have more neutral barrels also. So when you blend it all together before you bottle, then hopefully you've got a very nice, fruit-forward, well-balanced, wonderful Tempranillo with lots of flavor profiles and structure. That's
Okay.
what we're shooting
Yeah.
for.
So you talked about the High Plains and you talked about the Fredericksburg area, Hill Country area. We actually used to have Tempranillo vines here on property out
we
in
did.
Burleson. And it seems to me like we found that we were getting, I don't know, better fruit, or it was easier to get fruit from the High Plains. What was with the decision to not have our Tempranillo vines anymore?
Well, Gene Estes, the owner, planted Tempranillo about 2 acres worth back in like 2004.
So they were older vines anyway.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were older vines, and they did make good fruit. Our 08 Tempranillo that we produced here at this facility and grew the grapes. They were estate grown, produced and bottled here. It won a silver medal at the
Nice.
Dallas Morning News wine competition. And I know that one of the judges wanted to give it a gold, but the other said, "Oh, it's too oaky," because it sat in oak barrel for 3 years,
Which we
we
don't do
never
anymore.
do, yeah. So,
But if any wine can stand up to 3 years in oak, it's
It would be
Tempranillo,
Tempranillo,
because
yeah.
again, the Spanish Tempranillos, they will be in oak for 10, 15 years.
well, and we didn't have very much. We
Yeah.
only had like I think 3 barrels. So we used new barrels, so it was all new, you know.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit over the top on the oak. But I know a lot of wineries, probably even in Texas, will let them sit 3 years in oak. But they just never produced the crop we had hoped for. So we finally decided to pull the plug on Tempranillo because we were getting wonderful Tempranillo from the Bingham families in Meadow, Texas, by Brownfield, off the plains, and we could put in more high-value grapes here
Yeah, so we had
that do better in this
other
North
varietals
Texas.
that we had planted on the
Yes.
property that we felt were doing better.
Yes,
And if
very
we can
much so.
plant more of that varietal that's doing better, and I'm specifically talking about Shiraz, which has just gangbusters here, done fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
So if we're getting better fruit from the High Plains on Tempranillo, let's get it from there, and then let's plant the ones here on our property that does better here. And we don't have a lot of acreage either.
No,
So that's
don't.
under
No.
vine. So we have 5 acres that are actually under vine. So I know that we felt like let's dedicate those minimal acres to something that's going to do really well here that we know people love. And
Yes.
Shiraz, we are looking forward to having back.
We have found out the varieties that do so well in this North Texas area, and then others that we prefer to get from the plains. And we get 90% of our fruit from the plains anyway. But we first produced a Tempranillo in 2008, the one we do locally. Plus, we had a 2008 Tempranillo from Lost Draw Vineyard out at Brownfield. And Andy Timmons and Dusty Timmons' brother, wonderful grape growers, great guys. They have their own winery now, Lost Draw. And that '08 Tempranillo that we produced from their vineyard was in oak 1 year. It was 12.5% alcohol, which you don't, one thing I learned about Tempranillo, that was the first time I made it, it doesn't have to be this huge, big, in your face, 14, 15% alcohol wine. Because that wine won a gold medal at the Dallas Morning News wine competition. And it was the only Tempranillo to win a gold medal that year. And the same year, it won a gold medal at the San Francisco International. And I believe these were the first Texas, it was the first Texas Tempranillo to win gold at the San Francisco International. Now,
international, so going up against Spanish Tempranillo.
That's the most prestigious wine competition in the world. It goes up against a lot of people. Now, one of the things since then, Texas has fallen in love with Tempranillo. All the winemakers, the growers, they all love Tempranillo. A few years ago, I'm not exactly sure, I think it was 2017, at the San Francisco International Wine Competition, they gave 3 double gold medals. And a double gold is where the panel of 5 judges all agree it's worth a gold.
It's unanimous.
And so they gave 3 double gold medals. 2 were from Texas. They gave 12 gold medals. 7 were from Texas. So I think that shows what Tempranillo can do in Texas. And they were from the hill country. They were from the plains. They were from grapes from all over the state. And I thought that was a wonderful testimony, not only to the growers, but to the winemakers that we have here in Texas.
So we've got Tempranillo behind us that we're looking to bottle.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, so, and we don't have our Tempranillo vines anymore on our property, so where did these grapes come from?
These came from the Bingham family
Bingham's,
vineyards.
okay.
Yes. 18, it's an 18 vintage. We're going to be bottling, it's not going to be a huge amount. It was a little bit low that year. We're going to bottle about 260 to 70 cases, so be sure you get your Tempranillo quick. And but 19 was gangbusters.
Yeah.
We got 14.7 tons of Tempranillo, and it was
visualize
wonderful.
that amount of grapes.
Yes, it was a lot, but it's a great grape to work with. Our equipment did very well with it. We've got 37 barrels of Tempranillo from 19, and Angela and I tasted one the other day, and we're like, okay, we can bottle this now.
Let's just drink it. I'm just going to take this barrel home with me. You guys, but 30, how many barrels? I don't know.
That's a lot. That's a lot for us. 37 is one of the highest we have. But anyway, we will have a wonderful Tempranillo in 19. Probably bottle it, I'm going to say late fall, early spring next year. Early 2021 possibly. And but we'll also have enough Tempranillo that we can peel off for some of our blends, like our Texas Trio or possibly Mosaic, things that we do, kind of as a to blend with others, just to give you another option for your winemaking.
It's a good blending grape
too. It
Mm-hmm.
is. And we've got, it's nice to have that amount, because then you can do things like that with it. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sitting down and talking with us. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave some comments down below, and we will get back to you. Good comments. Tell us how much you love Tempranillo. Tell us how much, how long you've been waiting for the new Tempranillo. It is in the bottle. It's not going to be released right away. We like to let it sit in the bottle for a little while, just because going through the bottling process kind of shocks the wine a little bit, and letting it sit in the bottle for a few months.
That helps.
Helps to mellow it out. So it's not going to be here tomorrow, but be looking forward to it.
And tell Angela how much you like her hair.
I haven't been able to get a haircut.
All right. Well, here's to you.
All right. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers. Here's to Tempranillo.